build a financially independent and stable creator business, you need to leverage offense and defense strategies. On my channel, I talk a lot about how you can increase the revenue, increase the different monetization paths, essentially the offense strategies. But we don't spend nearly enough time talking about how can you solidify the foundation of your organization to ensure it can sustain any kind of rough waters. Big kudos to Zach Honorvar, the manager behind Yes Theory and Airrack, for giving me the idea for this video. To recap, here are the two categories of monetization. Offense, focused on increasing the revenue. Watch my videos on creator personas, jobs to be done, and mastering the flow of the value in the creator economy frameworks. For the rest of the video, we'll focus on the defense side, starting with investing behind revenue. This is a common advice I give these days to the creators and startup executives. Historically, at low or zero interest rates, cash was cheap. It was plentiful. So many companies treated the forecasted revenue as if they already had that money in the bank. But when those deals did not materialize, we saw layoffs, budget cuts, and shut down businesses. To avoid this mistake, I recommend creators to only invest the money they already have. Deals fall through, companies go bankrupt before they pay, or simply refuse to pay you in the first place. And as a creator, you're already dealing with a very volatile industry, so don't risk it. First get the money, then invest it. Low budget planning. Every time I build budgets for startups I work with, I define 3 scenarios: high, medium, and low. Medium is the likeliest scenario you'd face. High represents a scenario where your company made more money than expected, so you get to spend more, and it's least likely scenario. Low represents the worst case scenario where your company failed to meet its targets. When I work with more mature organizations, I advise them to manage to a medium scenario and have a game plan on ice for the low scenario. For the creators who are just developing their business, and again, considering the volatility of the creator economy, I strongly recommend you operate as if you're under the low scenario. You didn't make as much money, a project didn't pan out, something happened with one of your hires, and so on. Normalizing to the low scenario is not always advisable for, again, more mature organizations, but just considering the volatility and everything else that's going on that influences the creator economy, I'd rather see you be a lot more conservative when it comes to budgeting and deciding how you invest your money than go broke while trying to make one of those projects work and essentially shutting down your business before you gave it a real chance. Legal and taxes. These two are very self-explanatory and usually would require a better specialist than I am in either of those categories, but I do have 2 points to make. For legal, do not operate on handshakes. If you're being hired to do work, to perform a brand read, or anything that involves larger money outflow from your business, like new hires or massive purchases, have at the very least the most rudimentary paperwork in place, even the one that you can Google. Friends, relatives, brands you really like, it doesn't matter. Legal paperwork should not be insulting to anyone, and it is a requirement. And the time investment is worth it because you'd rather have it and never use it than risk being in a situation where you wish you could have saved your brand by having just one pager signed by both parties. As for the taxes, pay them. Do not, I repeat, do not mess around with IRS or your local country equivalent. Not paying taxes is illegal and carries dire consequences that will take down years worth of your hard work in the best case. And I know it sucks. I just wrote a massive check to IRS for the prior year. I hated it, but I have to do this as part of my duties to this country. And yes, I'd rather be off the radar of any 3-letter agency and continue to safely and securely manage my business than trying to risk cut the corners for an extra few bucks here and there and then have sleepless nights that will keep me up, make me less productive, make me less creative, all in the best case scenario. We don't want to talk about the worst case scenario. So pay your taxes and make sure you read the paperwork and it's countersigned. There are more things you can do defensively to establish a firm foundation for your personal brand and the business you're building. IP protection, trademarks, copyright protection. We'll save those for the future continuation of this series. For now, I want you to remember that as you grow your business, you don't just have to grow the revenue. You can put in place these frameworks I shared today and ensure you need to make less revenue to hit that point of financial independence. And if you're still stuck, reach out. Happy to discuss, happy to provide you with my advice or introduce you to some folks who are actually pros in certain areas like taxes or legal. I'll see you next Saturday. Peace.